Hello everyone. I want to just discuss LMP GT12 and it's sort of not a new thing because in Europe people have been running it like this for I want to say a number of years, but at least I've been aware of it for sort of a couple of years at least, which is GT12 shells on LMP cars. So why would you do that? Why would you not just buy a GT12 car and then race that? So a lot of this is obviously, this is all my personal opinion. I think some people will agree, strongly agree. It's like that chart, isn't it? Do you either strongly agree, neither disagree, agree, etc., etc.? And you have to sort of mark it down one of those five. I think some people are going to be certainly at the ends of the strongly disagree or strongly agree or not care, etc. So why am I doing this? What it's all about? So for me, if I race at the weekend, say I race Saturday or even a national Saturday and Sunday, and my club races on a Tuesday. Now, after you've raced Saturday and Sunday at a national, I don't particularly want to have to prep the car and race the same car. It's all about enjoyment and having a bit of variety. So I would like to race something slightly different at my club, Burton, which is this may be the case. So again, that may be the case for other people. Do they want to race the same class week in, week out? Secondly, Burton, it's in probably half the size as a national venue. So for 13.5 LMPs, it is probably too small. We're very fortunate to have some really good drivers. Lewis Parker, James Hart are regularly there with siblings, brothers. It's very much a family club. Although it gets serious, it is. We are trying to sort of develop the next generation of RC drivers. I think we're all conscious of that. You've got some legends of RC racing as well, with people like Bob Harley racing there. I forgot the chap's name. He'll come back. Fred Hatfield, thank you. And you got the people that run other clubs that come, Rich Norris. So there's a real mix of people that go race at Burton. So I want to race something different, but I've obviously got lots of I've got 2 LMP cars. So for me, to get this car to be have a GT12 shell on it, all I've done is put some different body posts on. So I think they were £4. So to change this into an LMP, into a GT12 car, isn't difficult at all, isn't expensive at all. The body shell, this is a Montec GTM, I think. I'll have to put the links in. It's been a while. GT3 is the standard weight, so the body's a lot thicker. So it's going to last a lot longer than the sort of the lightweight shells that we use. So again, it's going to cost me less to run at Burton on a Tuesday. The other thing that I'm sort of aware of is the arms race with motors. And so what I've done, I've put the Hobbywing Just Stock 17.5 motor in. These have been used in touring cars in 2019. I think it proved a very popular class. It just levels the playing field with motors. It's, you know, you go through periods with our hobby that there's a new motor out every month and it's £90. So for me, it was the idea behind this is to try and create a class which is different from LMP 13.5. It's cheaper to run. It's has a more level playing field in terms of motors. So that's what I want to get out of it. So there's a few of us at Burton that are going to run GT12 shells, 17.5 motors. This is very much of it. I haven't even run this at Burton. That's how, because of the lockdown. So I think there's 3-4 of us that are going to have a play with this and see where we want to take it. We might all hate it, but I think in principle it's got some real positives for it. So that's why I want to do it. But the other thing as well is, again, we have at Burton, we have a chap come in with his lad who's, say, 10, 12, and we have GT12s going around, and then we have LMP cars going around. Now, obviously, the LMP cars, they're quicker. It's not that the drivers are significantly better or better at all. It's just that they're a bit quicker, so they probably looks like the sort of the better thing to do. And regularly we have people come up to us and they say, we're looking to get into model car racing. And because, again, 13.5 LMP at Burton is quite a difficult thing to master, we told them to buy a GT12 car because it's easier to get used to it. And then we tell them if they like that, they can buy an LMP car. Now, if I was that dad, I'd be thinking, so I'm buying one car and then 6 months later down the line, I'm buying another car. So what I would hope this would be is that somebody can come in, 17.5 motor, so it's not frighteningly quick, it'll still be lively, I would imagine. GT12 shells. Shell's going to last a lot longer than an LMP shell. So I hate to say little Johnny, but let's say little Quentin or little Conrad can enjoy model car racing, and when hopefully he develops and he wants to, say, move on to an LMP car, then all he has to do then is change the motor, smaller body post, and get a new shell. So the moving through our sport is a lot more cost effective for these people. The other thing as well, you've got other people that maybe have raced RC cars previously or are racing them now, and again 13.5 LMP is becoming faster and faster and faster due to the development of the chassis and the motors. They're finding it less and less enjoyable because as you get older your reactions diminish, but they still want to keep racing. So do we tell them you stop racing, or do we have an option like this where they can choose to race something that's more manageable for their reactions, and also hopefully still a lot of fun, and they can still feel part of the community. So this isn't a class that's going to replace GT12. It's a class, it's not even, I suppose it's not a class, it's just something that we want to try at Burton. I know other clubs have, and other people have shown an interest in this, and it's very difficult sometimes with Facebook posts, etc., to convey what you're trying to do. I would like to see more people in our hobby racing cars, whether that's a GT12 car, whether that's something like this, or an LMP car. It doesn't really matter to me. It's people attending clubs, growing our hobby, our sport. It's not anti-GT12. That's still got a massive place. We still get probably 3 heats of GT12 and 1 heat of LMP at Burton. So it's still predominantly a GT12 club. However, is this a good time to think about reducing the cost of our hobby? Is it a good time to sort of maybe press the reset button on this wanting to go faster all the time? I would like to see club racing, as with the original GT12, it sort of was a simple version of an LMP car, and there was a noticeable difference in performance between the two. With the advancements of kits and motors, I'm pretty sure that if you took a modern day GT12 car, it's probably as quick as an LMP car from maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still the same human reactions that need to get the car around. We haven't evolved as the class has evolved, but humans haven't evolved, I don't think anyway, judging on the people I meet, between that. So it just needs to be simple. Just go through with the rules. Now, I say rules because again, if somebody turned up with a car and it didn't fit within their rules, I think we should always be accommodating to people. And again, it's encouraging people to take part in our hobby. So this car is, with everything on it, 820 grams. So we're 90 grams heavier than an LMP car. I think a lot of that is the motor must be quite heavy. I didn't weigh these parts separately, but the motor is quite heavy. The shell's obviously heavier as well, and this has got the alloy chassis on. So, but I think a weight limit of around 800 grams is where where the class needs to sit. I think it would be a good idea to move to a standardised motor, and this is as good as one as you could pick. If clubs wanted to say pick a certain brand of 17.5 motor that is agreeable to all members there, then I can see that working as well. We've left it as open tyres, but again, there's lots of good control tyres at the moment, and that could be something that people want to look at. The other thing that I'm a little bit of it might be slightly debatable, is I would like to see no spools being allowed in the class. I think it should be quite a simple car to drive, and I think a spool will just add slightly to the make the car more difficult than it needs to be. And the body shell, again, this is as good a body shell as you could probably find to fit on it. There are lots of other ones out there, but if I just wanted to show you the clearance on the rear is really good on the front. So and again, I would probably advise sticking to the standard weight shells because they're more durable. So that's my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear different people's opinions. I think a lot of people are going to be anti slowing down cars, but these tend to be people that have got lots of ability, and I'm trying to think from somebody that walks into our club, give them a pathway of buying a chassis, keeping the cost down initially so little Conrad can see if he likes the hobby. If he really gets into it, then it's just a case of we sell one motor, buy another one, and change the body shell. That for me is quite a sensible pathway to get somebody from walking into our club to walking into a national event for the first time and being the next generation of Spashits, and I don't want to say next generation of Ollie Payne, because that's a frightening prospect, isn't it, already? But creating new members to our hobby on that. The only thing I will note is that the only thing I haven't done is be able to get a bigger bumper. It probably needs a bigger bumper, but due to lockdown, I haven't been able to make one. But that's the only other alternative. The only other thing I will change is the bigger bumper on it. There we go. And again, really like to hear people's opinions on this, and see if we can get some sort of sensible debate about development of people coming into our class. Take care.